Hello and welcome to another episode of Current Affairs MCQ. Let us begin with the previous day's question. Consider the following statements. Statement 1. The RIC, Russia-India-China grouping, is currently dormant as a strategic forum. Statement 2. The RIC format was originally conceived to act as a counterweight to Western dominance in global affairs. Statement 3. A direct military clash between two of its member states has hindered the group's diplomatic momentum. Which of the following is correct in respect of the above statements? A. Both Statement 2 and Statement 3 are correct and both of them explain Statement 1. B. Both Statement 2 and Statement 3 are correct but only one of them explains Statement 1. C. Only one of the Statements 2 and 3 is correct and that explains Statement 1. D. Neither Statement 2 nor Statement 3 is correct. The correct answer is B. The RIC grouping is currently dormant as a strategic forum due to rising mistrust, conflicting interests, and evolving geopolitical dynamics. Hence, Statement 1 is correct. The RIC format was originally conceived to act as a counterweight to Western dominance in global affairs, with Moscow promoting it in 2018 as a platform to shape Eurasian cooperation and push for reforms in global governance. Hence, Statement 2 is correct. The RIC format has remained dormant since the Galwan Valley clashes between India and China in May-June 2020. Hence, Statement 3 is correct. Statement 3 identifies the immediate cause of the grouping's dormancy. The 2020 Galwan Valley clashes between India and China were a military confrontation between two member states directly disrupted its diplomatic momentum. Statement 2 explains why the group was formed to counter the West, but it does not explain why it is currently dormant. In fact, the need to counter Western dominance could be a reason to revive the group despite the India-China tensions. Hence, option B is the correct answer. Question 1. Consider the following statements. 1. The Act continues the operation of the Passport Entry to India Act 1920 without repeal. 2. It exempts educational institutions and medical institutions from reporting information about foreign nationals. 3. Only officers of the rank of Superintendent of Police and above are empowered to register without warrant. Which of the statements given above is or are not correct about the Immigration and Foreigners Act 2025? A. 1 only. B. 2 and 3 only. C. 1, 2 and 3. D. 1 and 2. The correct answer is C. The Passport Entry to India Act of 1920 and 3 other outdated laws have been repealed by the Immigration and Foreigners Act of 2025. Passport Entry to India Act 1920, Registration of Foreigners Act 1939, Foreigners Act 1946, Immigration Carriers Liability Act 2000. Hence, Statement 1 is not correct. The Act specifically requests that educational institutions and medical institutions report to authorities about foreign nationals who have been residing, enrolling, or having medical services there. Hence, Statement 2 is not correct. The Act gives authorized immigration officers, including those with the rank of Superintendent of Police, the authority to imprison foreign nationals suspected of violating the immigration laws without a warrant. Hence, Statement 3 is not correct. Hence, option C is the correct answer. Question 2. Consider the following statements with reference to the Seychelles. 1. Seychelles is located in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of West Africa. 2. It is the smallest nation in Africa in terms of both land area and population. 3. The largest island of the archipelago is Mahe. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only. B. 2 and 3 only. C. 1, 2 and 3. D. 1 and 3 only. The correct answer is B. The Seychelles are located northeast of Madagascar, which is in the Indian Ocean, off the eastern coast of East Africa. Hence, Statement 1 is not correct. Seychelles is the smallest African country by area and also by population. Hence, Statement 2 is correct. The capital city of Victoria is located on Mahe, which is the largest island in the Seychelles. Hence, Statement 3 is correct. Hence, option B is the correct answer. Question 3. Consider the following statements with reference to WHO's reports on world mental health. 1. Globally, 13.6% of the world's population currently has a mental disorder. 2. Anxiety and depressive disorders together account for more than 2/3 of the global mental disorder cases. 3. Suicide is the leading cause of death among young people worldwide. 4. According to present projections, the number of suicides will drop by 1/3 in 2030, achieving the Sustainable Development Goal target. Which of the above statements are correct? A. 1, 2 and 3 only. B. 1 and 2 only. C. 2 and 3 only. D. 1, 2, 3 and 4. The correct answer is B. The WHO's World Mental Health Today reports that the age standardized point prevalence of mental illness around the world is 13.6%. Hence, statement 1 is correct. According to recent WHO data, the most frequent mental wellness conditions are depression and anxiety, which together account for more than 2/3 of all cases. Hence, statement 2 is correct. WHO reports that suicide is the third leading cause of death among individuals aged 15 to 29. Hence, statement 3 is not correct. Current estimates indicate that a decrease will fail to achieve the SDG target of a 1/3 reduction. Hence, statement 4 is not correct. Hence, option B is the correct answer. Question 4. Which new category was introduced in NIRF 2025 to assess green practices in higher education institutions? A. State public universities. B. Innovation and entrepreneurship. C. Sustainable development goals. D. Skill universities. The correct answer is C. NIRF 2025 covered 7,692 institutions, the highest ever across 17 categories, including a new Sustainable Development Goals category to measure green practices, highlighting the government's focus on sustainable and accountable higher education. Hence, option C is the correct answer. Question 5. In the question given below, there are two statements marked as assertion and reasoning. Assertion: in 1991, the Narasimham Committee recommended reducing the statutory liquidity ratio and to achieve a capital adequacy ratio of 8%. Reason: the banking sector's capacity to lend effectively and maintain financial stability was compromised by high SLR and insufficient adequate capital. Select the correct option. A. Both A and R are correct, and R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are correct, but R is not the correct explanation of A. C. A is correct, but R is incorrect. D. A is incorrect, but R is correct. The correct answer is A. The Narasimham Committee 1 made two landmark recommendations to reform India's banking sector. Reduce the statutory liquidity ratio. This was the percentage of deposits that banks were forced to invest in low-yield government securities. Increase the capital adequacy ratio to 8%. This was to ensure banks had a sufficient capital buffer to absorb unexpected losses and remain stable. Hence, assertion is correct. High SLR locked bank funds into low-yield government securities and inadequate capital undermined resilience, explaining the recommendation. It correctly explains the assertion. Hence, reason is correct. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Question 6. With reference to bioproducts, consider the following statements. 1. Bioproducts are exclusively derived from dedicated food crops like sugarcane and soybeans, which limit their sustainability. 2. The adoption of bioproducts can contribute to climate change mitigation by reducing reliance on fossil fuels and generating rural employment. 3. A defining characteristic of all bioproducts is their complete biodegradability. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A. 1 and 3 only. B. 2 only. C. 2 and 3 only. D. 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer is B. Bioproducts are not exclusively derived from food crops like sugarcane and soybeans. They can also be derived from non-food crops or from waste products like agricultural residues or even recycled materials. While there may be some sustainability concerns regarding food crop-based bioproducts, it's not a universal limitation. Hence, statement 1 is not correct. Bioproducts, especially biofuels and bioplastics, can reduce reliance on fossil fuels, which helps in mitigating climate change. Additionally, bioproducts can contribute to rural development by creating jobs in agriculture, manufacturing, and related industries. Hence, statement 2 is correct. Not all bioproducts are completely biodegradable. While many bioproducts, such as certain bioplastics, are designed to be biodegradable, not all bioproducts necessarily degrade completely in all environments. Some bioproducts may be designed for durability and longevity. Hence, statement 3 is not correct. Hence, option B is the correct answer. Question 7. With reference to the Constitutional 103rd Amendment Act 2019, consider the following statements. 1. It provides 10% reservation for economically weaker sections in government jobs and educational institutions. 2. This quota is counted within the 50% ceiling on reservations laid down by the Supreme Court. Which of the above statements is or are correct? A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. Both 1 and 2, D. Neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer is A. The 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act 2019 inserted Articles 15(6) and 16(6) in the Constitution, enabling 10% reservation for economically weaker sections of citizens in government jobs and educational institutions, including private unaided institutions, except minority institutions. Hence, statement 1 is correct. The EWS quota is over and above the 50% ceiling on reservations set by the Supreme Court in the Indira Sahni case. With this, the total reservation in India now exceeds 50% in many states. The Supreme Court in Janhit Abhiyan vs. Union of India upheld the constitutional validity of the 103rd Amendment, allowing this exception. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Question 8. Regarding the phenomenon known as the blood moon, consider the following statements. 1. It is the scattering of red light by the Earth's atmosphere that causes the moon's reddish appearance. 2. This event can only be observed during a total lunar eclipse. 3. The color is a result of sunlight bending as it passes directly through the Earth's atmosphere before reaching the moon. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A. 1 and 2 only, B. 2 and 3 only, C. 3 only, D. 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer is B. The Earth's atmosphere preferentially scatters shorter wavelengths of light such as blue and violet. It is the longer wavelengths like red and orange that are less scattered and continue on to illuminate the moon's surface, giving it the reddish color. Hence, statement 1 is not correct. A blood moon is the characteristic appearance of the moon, specifically during a total lunar eclipse. In this alignment, the Earth is positioned directly between the sun and moon, blocking all direct sunlight. Hence, statement 2 is correct. The process responsible for this phenomenon is atmospheric refraction. As sunlight grazes the Earth and passes through its atmospheric layer, the light rays are bent. This refracted light, now stripped of its blue components, is what falls on the lunar surface. Hence, statement 3 is correct. Hence, option B is the correct answer. Question 9. With reference to the sample registration system in India, consider the following statements. 1. It is a large-scale demographic survey that provides key fertility and mortality indicators at both national and sub-national levels. 2. The SRS is the primary responsibility of the National Statistical Office and collects data on the population's age, sex, and marital status. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. Both 1 and 2, D. Neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer is A. The SRS is designed as a comprehensive survey to measure various demographic indicators, including the crude birth rate and total fertility rate. A key feature is its ability to provide these statistics for the entire country and for individual states and union territories. Hence, statement 1 is correct. While the SRS does collect data on age, sex, and marital status, it is conducted by the Office of the Registrar General of India, not the National Statistical Office. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Question 10. With reference to the Environment Audit Rules 2025, consider the following statements. 1. The implementation of these rules will be primarily overseen by the Environment Audit Designated Agency. 2. The rules establish a two-tiered compliance system involving both government regulators and third-party registered environment auditors. 3. To ensure transparency, industrial units are permitted to select their own REAs from a certified list for conducting audits. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A. 1 and 3 only. B. 2 only. C. 2 and 3 only. D. 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer is B. The Environment Audit Designated Agency is responsible for the certification, registration, and management of auditors. The overall implementation of rules is overseen by a steering committee, which is chaired by an additional secretary from the Ministry of Environment, Forest, and Climate Change. Hence, Statement 1 is not correct. The rules introduce a two-tiered system of compliance verification. Tier 1 involves the primary review by government regulators like the Central Pollution Control Board and the State Pollution Control Boards. Tier 2 consists of third-party verification audits conducted by independent registered environment auditors. Hence, Statement 2 is correct. To ensure impartiality and prevent any potential conflict of interest, REAs will be assigned to projects on a random basis. This prevents industrial units from choosing their own auditors, thereby strengthening the integrity of the audit process. Hence, Statement 3 is not correct. Hence, option B is the correct answer. Now, let us look at a practice question. With reference to India-China relations in the 1970s and 1980s, consider the following statements. 1. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the first senior Indian leader to visit Beijing after the 1962 war. 2. Rajiv Gandhi's 1988 visit to China marked a decisive shift by separating normalization of ties from settlement of the boundary dispute. 3. The LAC Plus proposal of 1983 involved Chinese demand from Tawang in exchange for concessions in Ladakh. Which of the above statements is or are correct? A. 1 and 2 only. B. 2 and 3 only. C. 1 and 3 only. D. 1, 2 and 3. Please provide your answers in the comment section.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.